hungover, and international. So nice hip toss, nice and light. This is the basic spot. So when we're learning professional wrestling, this is where we start with an international, as it's called. International usually requires headlock, a tackle, drop down, and a hip toss. There's variations of it, of course. You can do tackle, drop down, leapfrog, hip toss. You do tackle, drop down, leapfrog, arm drag, hip toss, yada, yada, yada. Doesn't matter, all it is. It starts with a tackle, goes with a tackle. From the tackle, it's a drop, and then it's something else. Basically, international, that's what it is. So today, as you saw, we went over the very basics, the bare bones of it. That's the basic one. Now, we're gonna break this down with no bumps. We're just gonna show you, this is the beginner step. This is what you do when you first learn this business. This spot is your very first spot you're gonna learn, hopefully. So, when we lock up, meaning they're gonna lock up, I'm gonna show you why we do things the way we do it. So once he grabs that headlock, the idea is the momentum, pulling my body into him, into that headlock, is the momentum used to push him back into the ropes. So as soon as he gets that headlock, we're off. We're not dead. Once you stop dead, you better stay in that headlock and work it. Okay, so what we're gonna do is he's gonna get that headlock, we're gonna walk through this now. We're walking through it. So as soon as he gets that headlock, snaps that headlock, I'm already starting to back up. Notice first, one of the worst pet peeves I see is, and Ethan's great for this, is he will hold on to the headlock. So when he's off the ropes, he's holding on the whole time. He never lets go of the headlock. Because if he did, now let go of the headlock this time, eh? Why wouldn't you just get out of there and just knock the guy out? So you have to maintain control. Now when it comes to control, and when it's talking about like when you're grabbing the ropes, it's usually to control yourself. The idea is what Ethan did. So as you get that headlock, your elbow comes over the top. That gives you enough control of the momentum on the rope so you don't fall through. So once we get to this part, there's different ways you can shoot them off. Like you can go up behind the head and rip. You can go off the waist. It doesn't matter. These are all just minute details. They don't have to, there's no proper way. There's all just different ways. All it is about momentum of ripping a guy off you. Okay? So you want to take as many shuffle steps in, shuffle in, so that you're about past center. And then once Ethan comes off that ropes, as you bring your head up, it's chest on chest. It's not shoulder on shoulder. Your shoulder's not pointing into a person. It is chest on chest. That chest on chest action, boom, will knock me over because his momentum against me standing still knocks me over. Boom. In this position, when we back bump, the first thing you learn in the basics is I'm going to check for eye contact. He's going to check me for eye contact so he didn't knock me out. The idea is once we're here, if you see a guy that's all messed up, that you don't want to hurt him anymore. If he can't go, he can't go. So it's always a check of eye contact so we have connection and then off he goes. Once he gets to there, I always shoot and feed my right side because I'm already in position. I position my right side towards him and I go down. He steps over the top, we get as close as possible so he can step over the top, coming up and getting hip in the way and then arm over. So like on a little teapot is basically how we want to go. And then he is going to post on my hip and take that motion over. That is your hip toss. Okay, so if there is no hip, if you're here, that is not a hip toss. That is foolish. That's foolishness. You need to be in front of the guy so he has something to go over. I don't care if it's Will Ospreay and they could flip for days. It doesn't matter. It's not a proper hip toss unless you're there to take them over. It's a takeover. Okay, so that is the very basic type spot, which is an international. Okay, now let's clean it up. Let's clean this all up. So we are going to do this international again, but we're going to add to it to make an international actually mean something. Okay? So we're going to add a little bit more gusto to it. So it's going to be the same spot with an added little bit. Okay? So as soon as we lock up, we're going to go boom, head, up, go, wham, boom. is more advanced. Selling is key, and realism is key. So when I throw Ethan off that rope, I'm closer. The idea of getting someone to pull off your head, you should be closer. As soon as his back is hitting that rope and he's facing you, you should be on him. Boom. Now that tackle means something. It's not back here where you look silly. Because if you threw a guy off and you're all the way over here and he's 240 pounds and I'm only 200 pounds, I'm not going to let him hit me. That's ridiculous. The idea behind taking a tackle is it comes out of nowhere. Off. We finally get him off. Boom. Hits us with the tackle. Immediately. Anytime an opponent's shoulders are on the mat, you go for the cover. Ethan goes for the cover. 1, 2. I kick out. He has only 2 options. He can go this way or he can go straight. Because I'm blocking. My body's blocking the other way. He's got lots of options. 1 or 2. So you can always be know in your brain concrete. You're either turning to the right or flipping all the way over to your right. As he takes off, I'm sitting up selling. A big man just knocked me off my feet and tried to pin me. I should be hurt. I shouldn't be just taking a tackle like it's nothing. If I hit you for real and I knocked you off your feet, it should mean something. So we make it mean something. Ethan has knocked me over, so it actually hurts. Once I'm down, he hits those ropes. I get up and notice that he is hitting the ropes. I'm like, I should be almost in shock, like something's about to happen to me that's not going to be good. So my reaction is to evade. Get out of the way. Get out of his way. Either you're trying to trip him or you're trying to get out of the way. As soon as I do, of course, he's already on momentum. He already sees me going. He goes over the top. He hits that ropes. As he hits the ropes, I get up and I shoot in as close as possible, making sure I give a solid hip toss. As I give that hip toss, I already know that I've taken him over. I keep connection as long as I can and go into a pin. That is a proper international, the basic one of tackle, drop down, hip toss. There's many variations, as I said. If you want to clean up your work, if you want to make your stuff way better, take the little finer points and ask why. Why am I going off those ropes? Why am I taking this tackle? Why am I dropping down and why is he taking a hip toss? It's as easy as that. All you have to do is ask why and how. How would I react? How would 240 pounds hitting me make me react? Because I'm not going to kip up. I'm not going to be a guy that kips up in a situation like that. I am actually going to sell a situation like that. Because the bigger I make him, and the more solid I make him, the better off I'll be. Because if I'm selling accordingly and eventually I win, that means that he was a threat, he was a real contest, and I beat him. It's just all psychology. And the simpler you make these things, the more simplified things are getting nowadays, you're leaving a whole lot of good work that you can get a whole lot more out of. You're giving it away for free. Who's going to buy the cow if you give the milk away for free is basically it. So when you're doing these things, I want you to ask why and I want you to ask how and then go from there. This is your first spot we've ever done. It is the international tackle drop down hip toss. Try it, and I want anybody that has any experience, give it a little bit more, right? Give it a little bit more gusto on this stuff. Try to sell more, work a little bit more intense, work a lot more snug, work more tight, really get it in there. Thank you very much.